Hi everybody, this is Alchemist2 and I'm back again with another movie review. Well, this is actually a blast from the past. This is the first film I remember seeing in a cinema that actually had, get this, it had reclining chairs and it had cup holders. This was the only cinema that I knew of that actually had cup holders, because the one back home in Indiana didn't. This was South Carolina, and I think that this was a marvelous, convenient, leisurely concept that other cinemas took grasp of, and South Carolina was ahead of its time. But anyway, I digress. The movie itself was A League of Their Own, which was based on the real story of the Rockville Peaches, and it's one of my favorite sports movies of all time, amongst many, many others. And I'm not really a baseball fan, but I do enjoy movies about baseball, oddly. Uh, this movie is nothing short of wonderful. It truly is a remarkable, uplifting, enlightening story about a group of women that's chosen during World War II in order to get people's minds off of what was going on during this hellacious period of time in our history. And one of the main characters, actually two main characters, Betty Spaghetti and Dottie, they have husbands off in the war effort, and there's a sad scene that occurs with that, and you know what's going to happen if you know anything about war and the consequences of war, what's going to occur, and it's actually very, very tragic. It's really a fun movie, and Tom Hanks plays a jerk, of all things. I had never seen him play a character that was just so reviled and had no decency and no couth, and was just disgusting and gross. But he played a douchebag really well, I thought. I just think that he was the pinnacle of jerks, and he does this with panache, and he's just a consummate actor, and I love Tom Hanks, and you love to hate him in this movie, though you can see that he does go through a redemptive process. And the movie is one of my, like I said, it's one of my absolute favorite sports movies of all time, and it touches my heart and it lifts my spirit, and I realize that anything is possible if you're willing to focus on your goals and intend the best for yourself. And I really believe that this can be achieved in this day and age, even when things look dire and you think, well, there's no possible way that can happen. That's just negativity trying to sabotage success, and I think that that can be overcome and overlooked. And uh, it gives me hope for the future, for myself and getting work. I'm still unemployed, and I'm going to be going back to school starting the 22nd, and I still got a whole bunch of films I need to watch, including I recently got the final um, installment of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and I certainly need to watch that because it's one of my favorite animes of all time, and I just think it's worth looking at and reviewing, which I will do. I guarantee you that. It may be well into the future when I do it, but I feel that A League of Their Own is a film that is well worth mentioning because of its historical value and because of the people involved in it. It has a stellar cast, and the period of time is very accurate, and how women were depicted, and the war, and how it just kind of changed up the gender ideas, and it's just a really intriguing social commentary, I think. And I think as far as we women are concerned in this day and age, I think we've moved. Excuse me, hot dogs. How apropos. I had a coney, but I really believe that women have made a lot of strides in this day and age, and I think that there's a lot of confusion concerning gender roles. But um, I am a women's liber. I'm not a feminazi. I think that there are a lot of things that women can do that man can do just as well. The only thing that women are lax in is, of course, physical strength, because look at these arms. I know I've got a nice pair of guns here, but I can only lift 40 pounds. And if I lift any more than that, I will get a hernia, and I don't want that. So it's, yeah. Seeing women beef themselves up is going a little bit too far, but anyway, back to my original topic. This movie, 2 thumbs way up, 5 stars, no questions asked. It is a classic. It is just a really miraculous film, just absolutely outstanding and phenomenal. It truly moves you. You just really get involved with it. It's like I said, I don't really care that much for baseball. Yeah, I know I'm an American. I'm supposed to love baseball. Please. I'd rather watch soccer. Soccer is more entertaining, but yeah. Call me an anti-patriot, but I like soccer better than baseball. And hockey, but anyway. It's a great film, and it's it's very enjoyable, and the lessons that can be taken away from it are just so endearing and thought-provoking, I feel, and it's just one of those movies that sticks with you long after, even if you've seen it once. I was about 10 when I saw it for the first time in that little cinema in South Carolina, and I wonder if it's still there. I don't remember what it was named, but before the show started, they had and I don't know how I remember this, but they had a kind of montage with, they had the palmetto trees and a sunset, and then you hear the waves coming in, and they said, "Please be quiet for a preacher presentation." And no smoking in the lobby or something. I forget. This was like, no smoking in the lobby. Please be courteous to our patrons during the feature presentation. And they had the waves coming in, and it was just really something I remember. It was my nostalgia from when I was younger, and it just is one of those movies that I feel needs to have a closer look at it, because this is Hollywood filming at its best. I really feel that, and I wish there were more movies like this. And there's a movie coming out in the future called Moneyball that is on the same lines with Matt Damon, and it's based on a true story, and I really, 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 really want to see this movie badly. And I'm really looking forward to actually seeing it, so I will probably review it when it comes out, but right now I had to wait for it. But when I saw the preview for it, I said, I have to see this movie. I'm wondering if it will be as good or better than A League of Their Own, even though it's a little bit different of a film. But I love sports movies based on true stories like this, because they are enlightening and uplifting, and you can take a lot from them, and the quotes as well. Like when when Tom Hanks's character says, there's something about baseball, it gets into you, it bites at you, and you can't just give it up. And that's true. I mean, if you get into a sport, for instance, I know dancing is not a sport, and I'm not a professional dancer, but I love dancing, and it's something that I cannot stop doing. I gotta dance. I cannot sit still. If I hear a song that has a good beat, I'm going to be dancing, and I'm going to be carefree about it, and I don't care what anybody else says, even if I look like a dork doing it. But I really love it, and it's the same thing with anything that you truly feel passionate about. You're driven by it, and that was the whole point that I took away from that. And I feel that I'm really passionate about what I do now. And, pardon me. That's a really powerful coney, but I think that it is truly one of the finest films ever made about the great American well, it's actually not really great American pastime. We borrowed it from England, and it was cricket, and the bowlers from England actually uh, brought it over to the States, and we decided to make it our own and change things around a bit. I mean, I think it still has some of the same uh, rules and regulations, but it's basically cricket. Let's just get right down to the reality of it. It's cricket. But hey, you know, play me if you will. It's a great cricket film. Let's just put it that way. One of the best. Well, besides Lagan, it's one of the best cricket films ever made. So look it up sometime. Maybe you'll enjoy it, even if you don't like sports movies, because even if you think it's going to be boring, it really isn't, because it's actually a quite spectacular film, and it's well worth looking at.